This killer silent. In commemoration of Breast Cancer Month, our reporter Lerato Fekisi sat down with some cancer survivors to hear their stories of heartache, grief, and ultimately victory.
When I look at myself naked and I've got no nipples, I mean, even now I struggle to okay, Amy, I don't feel like the same Amy. So I'm still getting used to that. I mean, I know my hair's short and everyone's like, no, you're rocking the short hair. I'm like, yeah, but it's still not me. I still feel like a part of me is, before pre-cancer. Yeah. And now I need to get used to post-cancer Amy because, I still haven't fully accepted the way I look now, which is also what I'm struggling with. And that's one thing Brian's like, no, and I also struggle when people are like, no, but you're looking so great. You're looking, just like, yes, but I don't feel like that.
Yeah. It has been an emotional roller coaster couple of months for 34-year-old Amy du Plessis and her family. Her nipple started bleeding after breastfeeding her last child. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, but detection had been early. A small procedure to remove the cancer was done. Little did she know that an even bigger hurdle lay ahead. Further tests revealed she had stage 1 breast cancer. Radiation followed. She and her husband decided to have a double mastectomy to prevent possible cancer scare in the future. Then it was discovered that the cancer had spread to her lymph nodes and she was now stage 2.
Chemo knocked me like I never thought it would hit me as hard as it did. And lying down in my bed, listening to my kids play outside and not being able to. That was very difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because you can't go and hold them and you are literally feeling like
I couldn't actually even have them in the room at the same time. So I would lie there. I couldn't even keep my eyes open sometimes, even though I wasn't sleeping. Shame, and my mom and Brian would have conversations and laugh, and I had friends, like I was telling you, my friend Shani, she would send me these messages, and those are the types of messages that made me laugh and just uplifted me a little bit. But I mean, listening to my kids play, and I couldn't have them in the room, and even at night, the worst was at night actually, when Matthew would cry for me. He's full-on mommy's boy, and then when he would cry for me, and I couldn't go to him. Yeah. But I had Max that I was very grateful for. Yes, but it was very difficult.
Losing her hair was devastating. She relied heavily on the unconditional support from her husband and the unwavering love from her mother, friends and family. Her aim is to eat healthy and remain active and positive. Picking up the pieces of her life has not been easy, but she is grateful she is alive.
It's only now that I've started having these, I would call them dark days, because I have a low. So my psychologist has given me some coping mechanisms and they have been working, but I'm only having those days now. And I say to Brian, I can't understand, why am I thinking like this now when I went through chemo, I did the radiation, the operation, and I just sailed through it. I mean, I did have a few bad days there, but nothing in comparison to now. It'd be good day, good day, good day, bad day. I'd just sit and cry. It's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, and I just started crying. Yeah. But overall, I'm in a good place now.
50-year-old Danielle says years after being diagnosed with breast cancer, she still remembers that day as if it was yesterday.
And when I received the chemotherapy the 27th of March, that was on the Friday. The following week, my hair started falling out. I just couldn't handle it. I was standing in the mirror and asked God, why me? Why me? As if hair was the most important thing, but at that time, to me, it was, again, how will the outside world accept me with one breast and without hair?
Her faith, coupled with support of family and friends, saw her through the darkest of days.
I felt less woman, I actually couldn't discuss it with my husband, because I thought that he will ignore me because of seeing me with one breast. I was very, I just couldn't go out to open areas, to community, or to public places or functions, because in my mind, I thought people were going to look at me and say, wow, did you see she has one breast? Yes, definitely, it affected me emotionally.
For 60-year-old Leona Hugo, being diagnosed with cancer made her see the positives in life.
You must just tell yourself, listen here, to me, this is not the end of the world. To me, this is the beginning of something new. And it actually granted me an opportunity in my work as a teacher and working with young girls to toe the line for them and to educate them, you know, because nobody before I was diagnosed has spoken to me about cancer. It was just a word to me and an advert. And I also remember the advert said, cancer can be beaten. And then I also have a very still relationship, solid relationship with my GP. He encouraged me. And you know what he said to me? He said to me, Leona, at least you know what is wrong with you. You know, I can leave my surgery now and then I can be run over by a bus. You still have time to make right in your life. What you feel is not right. So embrace this, make the best of it. And I did that.
Oncologists say there's been a rise in young patients having more aggressive cancer, but genetics play a big role.
Developing breast cancer has a huge psychological impact on a woman. It's not just having gone through surgery and then your body image that changes. It's also that huge sense of loss, and not just ladies who have a mastectomy. It's that huge sense of losing control and having to almost get used to your new normal. So what we also find is then patients actually feel safer while they are on treatment. They've now dealt with the diagnosis. Now they actually feel safer on treatment. And then once you stop the treatment, they have this fear again of it returning. It's a big change, huge psychological impact, this huge feeling of loss and almost that the grieving process that you have to work through once you have that diagnosis. And then you also get survivor's guilt, the patients who are actually fine, and then they sit with, but my friend who's had it is not fine, and that is quite tough. It's very tough.
Oncologists say there's not real proven research about the causes of breast cancer, but they recommend maintaining a good weight and a healthy lifestyle is important. Daily self-examination is also a must. Lerato Fekisi, SABC News, Port Elizabeth.